Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the joint auditors, I am pleased to present to you the reports that we have issued. This is the second year that we have to record our presentation due to the health situation, and I am looking forward to getting back to meeting in person next year. Our opinions and comments are included in the reports shown on the screen. Our reports primarily relate to the consolidated financial statements and to the individual annual financial statements of your company, as well as to the regulated agreements. We have also issued a report on the reduction of the share capital of your company, which is one of the extraordinary resolutions submitted to you. Finally, you will also find in the Universal Registration document the report issued by PricewaterhouseCoopers Audit on the consolidated statement of extra financial performance. These reports are included in the Universal Registration document, which is available on the company's website since April 9, 2021. For those of you who only have audio access to my presentation, I will point you to the pages of the Universal Registration document to find our reports. I will now summarize these reports for you, starting with reports on the financial statements. These two reports relate respectively to the consolidated financial statements and the annual financial statements of Michelin. You will find the report on the consolidated accounts on pages 381 to 385 of the Universal Registration document, and the report on the annual accounts on pages 401 to 404. These reports were issued on February 15, 2021. Our reports are based on the work carried out or coordinated by the joint statutory auditors. Concerning the consolidated and annual financial statements, the objectives of our work are summarized on the screen. In accordance with our professional standards, the first of these objectives is to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements do not contain any material misstatements. Our work is tailored to the specificities and the characteristics of your group. Our procedures cover both the current operations and the specific events of the period. We rely on internal control systems and procedures, and we deploy audit teams under our responsibility within the group subsidiaries around the world. Due to the travel limitations implemented in most countries, we have had to supervise these teams remotely. Finally, the conclusions of our work were presented to management and to the audit committee of your group. I will now highlight the main items of these two reports. First, we certify the consolidated and annual financial statements without qualification with respect to, respectively, the IFRS framework as adopted in the European Union and French accounting rules and principles. Both reports include a statement to underline that the accounts were prepared in the evolving context of a health crisis linked to COVID-19, the effects of which impacted the activity for most of the year and which continue to this day. We also indicate in these reports that we have no matters to report on the fairness of the information given in the management report of the chairman of the management board. Likewise, we attest to the existence in the supervisory board's report on corporate governance of the information required by law. Finally, your group has early adopted European Regulation number 2019-815 dated December 17, 2018, which provides for a single European electronic format for the presentation of the consolidated financial statements, which are included in the financial report. For the first time this year, we have thus performed procedures to verify the conformity with this electronic format, and we have no observations to report. Our reports also include a description of the key audit matters relating to the risks of material misstatement that we consider to be the most important for the audit of the 2020 financial statements. These relate to the main topics of discussion we had with management and the audit committee. For each of these key audit matters, we describe in our reports the reasons which led us to retain them, the nature of the risk identified, and the audit response we provided. For the fiscal year ended December 31, 2020, these key matters relate to, for the consolidated accounts, the valuation of long-term non-financial assets, the valuation of defined employee benefit plans, and the assessment of the risk relating to a tax litigation in Germany. For the annual financial statements, the key matter relates to the valuation of investments. Finally, we state in our reports that we have complied with the independence rules to which we are bound by virtue of the Code of Ethics of our profession and the European regulation applicable to the statutory audit of financial statements of public interest entities. Let's move on to the special report on regulated agreements, which appears on page 405 of the Universal Registration Document. We report that we have not been given notice of any agreement authorized during the past financial year or in previous years and which would have continued during the 2020 financial year. Regarding resolutions which are submitted to the extraordinary shareholders meeting of an extraordinary nature, we issue reports when required by law. Thus, we have issued a report relating to the 14th resolution, which proposes that you delegate to the managers for a period of 24 months the power to reduce the capital by cancelling repurchased shares of the company within the limit of 10% of share capital. This report appears on page 445 of the Universal Registration Document and does not contain any specific observation. I will conclude with a report on the consolidated statement of extra financial performance issued by PricewaterhouseCoopers Audit in its role as an independent third party. It is included in the management report and contains social, environmental, and societal information. This report concludes that there is no material misstatement in the information provided in the statement. This completes the presentation of our reports. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the joint auditors, thank you for your attention.